This card right here is absolute garbage juice. Cheeks. Low-key an embarrassment to the UFC, I ain't even gonna lie. It's a lot of prospects on the card, which is cool. It's just when you look at the card, it's like, you expect me to pay like over $100 for this? Tweaking. With all that being said though, it's for sure got one of the best fights in the year in Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Daruish. And I low-key hate this fight, cause I really like both guys. Like, who don't like Charles Oliveira? He that dude. He seemed like a great guy. I don't know him for real, but you know, he's a great fighter. Extremely exciting. He really took the sport by storm in 2021 to 2022 and really brought a lot of excitement back to the game. And for Daruish, he's been on a great streak lately. He's looked really good as far as his individual performances and brings a style that at least poses a major threat to the champion of their division. It's one of those fights that I hate to see either man lose, but obviously somebody got to. Oliveira is obviously the bigger name out of the two, and he's the one that's garnering a lot of the attention for the fight and the card in general. He's got a very aggressive and offensive-based style, really pressuring forward the majority of his fights, to be honest. It's really hard to push him back. And in my opinion, he's really the best offensive striker in the division. He brings a lot of variety in his strikes, and he's super explosive. And honestly, that's going to be his best recipe for success going against Daruish. Somebody who is kind of a slower start. You can really catch him off guard early. With that being said, that's really referencing older fights from Daruish. He's shown a lot of improvement lately, specifically defensively, which obviously Charles completely lacks. And that's really where he get caught up in literally every single fight he fights. He's so aggressive to the point where it's almost reckless. And he combined that with the fact that he actually does not move his head. He really kind of comes forward and allows for himself to be hit. Now, in matchups with almost anybody else in the division, if you drop Charles Oliveira, a lot of times he don't even get dropped for real. He kind of get clipped and he'll just decide to literally sit down and get some rest time because you ain't going to dive in his guard. But then you got a couple fighters like Islam, Daruish, maybe Armin Saryukin, and probably Gamrot. They'll take those opportunities if they clip him, follow him to the ground, and could potentially find a stoppage. And you take somebody like Daruish, who does have very good fundamental stand-up, really goes by the X's and O's, super fundamental. But he hit real hard in his own right. It's one of those matchups where it's like, oh no, Charles, oh no. Combine that with the fact that Daruish has God-level takedown defense and is an incredibly credentialed Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner in his own right. It's kind of like, damn, Charles, I don't really know what you're going to do, low-key. Now, I feel like the outcome of this fight heavily depends on how Charles decides to approach it. If he comes out gung-ho, guns blazing like if he comes out gung-ho, guns blazing like he usually does, it could either tremendously work in his benefit or it could literally be the reason why he loses. Because something that he and Daruish share in their fighting styles, neither one are quite the same moving backwards. Oliveira's not bad on the back foot. He's shown a lot of capability, and so is Daruish, evidenced by how he completely obliterated Gamrot's chin with that left hand. Moving Daruish backward, especially early on, will be Charles' best recipe to win the fight. Either way it go, I don't see the fight lasting long. No Charles Oliveira fights last long for real, mainly because he himself fights like the Tasmanian devil. I can easily see either man getting it done within the first couple rounds. But like, if you do make me pick, as much as I hate to do it, I can't lie, I feel more confident in siding with Daruish, being that I know exactly what I'm going to get from him. And his well-rounded skill set kind of acts like a Charles Oliveira repellent. Now, Oliveira can come out there and absolutely hornswoggle Beneil Daruish. But the thing about Olives is that he gets hit in every fight. It's one of those things like you kind of know it's going to happen. And if Daruish sits him down, he going to go into the guard and he could potentially submit him or find a finish through ground and pound from there. I ain't going to put who I think going to win in the title because if I get it wrong, I don't really want to hear it. So if I do end up getting clowned, that means you actually watched the video, and I appreciate that. To be honest, this is the only fight that I'm watching this pay-per-view for. I'm going to keep this stat. Dan Ige versus Nate the Train's cool too, but I feel like Ige going to handle my dog low-key. And Amanda Nunes versus Aldana is probably my least anticipated title fight main event that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I truly just don't care. Unless Aldana can get it done, that'd be kind of cool. And she got a chance. She a good boxer and all that, but from what's been seen, she has no takedown defense. Therefore, I think Nunes controls her to probably like a decision or something. I don't really care. Trash card. Horrible. But it's cool because it's got a great fight on it, and I'm really just waiting for 290, so it's cool.